So, speaking of superheroes, our next topic is the Daredevil Born Again series. Apparently, while under halt because of the actors' strike, Kevin Feige got to read the script and he got to see what episodes they had shot. He has now called for a complete rewrite overhaul. He has fired the entire writing staff, and we're starting from scratch. So Kevin Feige might have actually saved this damn show. And that's fucking awesome. I love that because yeah. I mean, it's just, like apparently there was rumors going around that like Daredevil didn't even put on his iconic costume till episode 4 out of like 13.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this would have been just a mid Marvel show. Especially if you got a group of writers that don't know how to write legal shows either.
Yeah. Two people right now like that work under Disney, Dave Filoni and Kevin Feige. Those two, you don't want to fuck with their shit. Like,
no.
Dave Filoni, like his Ahsoka series is phenomenal. It's actually really well written. I don't care much for the actor that they got for Ezra, but he actually makes it look like this is what happened when Ezra grew up.
Oh, funny really enough, cool. I think he's actually going to be at Dallas Fan Fest.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty
cool. I do like where he's going with it, and it's bringing a lot of interesting lore base of what's going on, and I'm for it. And same thing with Kevin Feige, with him doing what he did with Daredevil. I like Daredevil, like great character. So for him to do that, goes to show how much he cares about it.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, Disney, realistically, when it comes to their Marvel properties, since Phase 4, there have been 2 semi-successes on the big screen. You have Multiverse of Madness was a semi-success, and then you have No Way Home, but that's more or less Sony than it is. Or no, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking about out of their stuff, it would have been Guardians and I believe Multiverse of Madness was their 2 biggest successes. Like, don't get me wrong, No Way Home was considered like a freaking hit out, is hit in the ballpark or whatever the hell the word is, out of the ballpark basically. But that's more or less a Sony movie.
Secret of Toby and Andrew coming back.
Yeah, we all fucking knew. I think what everybody was surprised though was how much they were in the movie.
Oh yeah.
That's what surprised me. But no, when it comes down to it, it's just one of those things. It's like that's more or less a Sony movie than it is a Marvel movie. Marvel just kind of gave them extra money and let them use certain characters from their universe. So when it comes to the TV side of things, I would argue they're one really solid show, minus a few or not even really a few nitpicks. There's some nitpicks, yes, but like obviously there's like one major flaw. That's kind of the biggest thing. But aside from that, it's actually done really, really well. It's really entertaining. You have WandaVision was okay. You had Falcon and Winter Soldier, which became preachy as all hell at the end.
It was bound to.
It was bound to. Yes. Did it need to? No. And then of course you had. Shit, what was another one?
Are you just talking about the newer shows, or are you
out of just all their Marvel Disney Plus shows? Like, What If technically is a success. Hawkeye, I did not hate Hawkeye, but Hawkeye did have its problems too.
Well, I was just wondering because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was also done really well. And also
that was on
Carter series.
So
that wasn't originally a Disney.
Those were not. They were Marvel Television. They were not. That was completely different field. So
we're talking the ones that Disney themselves have done.
Yeah, Disney Marvel Studios have done, not in association with Marvel, which is what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter was. Though granted,
I wasn't sure about those.
Yeah, no, a lot of people weren't. I think they said certain parts of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon, and I believe Agent Carter is, but we don't know. Nobody ever really fully gave us an explanation on that one.
someone in that studio needs to sit down and be like, okay, here's what we consider canon out of what we've
Since
added.
they've opened up the can of worms that is the multiverse, good fucking luck. Because now everything's canon. So
Yeah,
It's like, yeah.
when it comes to Shield, I'd say like the first 3.5 seasons would be canon because
it followed the movies.
Yeah, it followed the movies really, really well.
Yeah.
After that, once they start going time travel, interdimensional travel,
Yeah.
then they brought in the multiverse at like in the last season, which I honestly haven't even watched yet.
Couldn't tell you. My mom watched that show and she said it was pretty good, but
Mhm.
I mean, as a TV show goes, I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's a good story, but
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But I would still argue like peak Marvel TV, not including not Marvel Studios presents. I'm talking just in association with Marvel. I would still argue peak Marvel TV. You cannot beat Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1, and Daredevil season 3. Everything else can be debated, but those 3 seasons of those 2 shows are some of the best Marvel TV we've gotten.
Yeah,
Like season 2 of Daredevil was okay, but it has some hiccups compared to season
I would
3.
argue Loki season 1 was getting close to that level. At least.
I would argue Loki had so much potential to get to that point, except for the fact that the way Sylvie is written in, it is very obvious who they really want the show to be about, and that's where it falters for me. And that's where a lot of new Disney stuff falters for me. They use the like iconic name of a certain character so they can get butts and seats or get eyes on viewership, and then they're like, oh yeah, no, we really want to make it about this show. For Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was Reva. For Ahsoka, it's essentially Sabine Wren.
It's the same problem that the DC movies had with Superman versus Batman.
Batman v Superman.
It wasn't it wasn't Batman v Superman. It was
Tease the Justice League, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a little bit of Batman v Superman. Yeah, no, and that's a different problem. DC had a huge problem of setup first, worry about everything else later. And that was the ultimate problem of Batman v Superman. But when it comes to Marvel, it's a different story. Actually, honestly, when it comes to Disney shows in general, they're using the IP that is like, oh yeah, we can get asses and seats for Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi, but we really want to make this Reva show. And it's like, okay, so take all that stuff, put it into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Wasn't it supposed to be a movie? We're making it a show now. Go ahead. Put your character in there. We'll make it about them, really. Disney.
Honestly, I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi would have made a better movie.
100% it would have made a better movie.
But don't get me wrong, I like all the Marvel shows that I've watched with Star Wars and the Marvel. I like, but they could have been better.
Mandalorian season 1 is pretty good. Season 2 is okay, and I think you should have ended at season 2. Sorry. You legitimately could have ended with season 2 and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett became Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, and that was really supposed to be a show about what's her name, the assassin lady.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
You're seeing the pattern here, aren't you? Yeah. Like, even Mandalorian eventually became the Bo-Katan show.
Yeah, which is...
I'm not trying to ruin these shows for you, Leon. I'm just...
No.
Pointing it out.
I get it.
Yeah. Like Loki was like, okay, cool. It's actually about Loki and the TVA. And then as soon as Sylvie gets introduced, it becomes the Sylvie show.
Yeah.
I don't know about season 2 just yet. Maybe they fix it.
First couple episodes, it's all right.
Yeah. I don't know if they fixed it or not. Maybe they did. I don't know. But
I don't know. There's not much you can really go off of with just 2 episodes.
That's true.
Really.
Yeah.
So now, to make a long tangent short, the reason why I bring this up is Marvel, really Disney as a whole, desperately needs another win. The only reason why I think Lucasfilm went on as long as it has now is because Mandalorian was a hit, and because Rogue One was a hit, and also because, to a lesser extent, Force Awakens was a hit. So, you have all those hits, and that's the reason what's been kind of pushing the corpse of Lucasfilm on from there. But with Marvel, you had 10 years, which is great. You had like 20 plus films over 10 years, 3 phases. You had hit, even the bombs didn't bomb as bad as everything else. So it comes down to, and now you're seeing a lot of bombs. Like, you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which was really supposed to come out in Phase 3, but didn't, because you fired James Gunn and then rehired him. And then at that point, he's already going to DC, so we went from there. So realistically, that was essentially a Phase 3 film that became a Phase 4 film. You have No Way Home, essentially essentially a Sony movie.
Pretty much,
you just get to kind of basically get some money out of it. So it comes down to, you've had so many bombs or so many disappointments. You desperately need something on the TV side of things. And a lot of people like Loki. A lot of people, they're like, okay, that's actually a decent show. Whereas Falcon and Winter Soldier was preachy. WandaVision was good until it became a generic Marvel plot. And then Secret Invasion was ass.
I haven't even watched Secret Invasion yet.
I
don't
tried watching the first episode.
The first episode's not god awful, but it's not good. Yeah, I got maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, and I gave up on it.
I still really like Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was okay. Hawkeye definitely had its
Hawkeye
issues. Hawkeye, in my opinion, definitely had some issues, but when it came down to it, it was still enjoyable. Yeah, I still had fun with Hawkeye. But
She-Hulk was that slapstick but that was just because of how she was. Anyway, actually, it could have been a whole lot worse.
I have the feeling.
I agree.
She-Hulk, it could have been a whole lot worse because majority of the comics, she's pretty much naked the whole time.
What were you saying, Allie?
Oh no, you took care of that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So I don't hate She-Hulk. She-Hulk is just fine.
This is where I was.
This is what you were hinting towards. Yeah. So it is one of the most mid Marvel TV shows I have seen. I agree with Leon. It could have been a shitload worse. Not for that reason, but it could have been a shitload worse. However, my main problem with that show is the pacing and the writing, which is the same problem I have with Obi-Wan Kenobi, but like, it's more obvious in that one. I actually don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I watched the whole thing because I'm like, where the fuck is this going? She-Hulk was the same thing. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? Because like, there's a couple of interesting points. The finale was okay. I'm surprised they're getting a season 2 with how much they like literally bullied the shit out of Kevin Feige by making him an emotionless, soulless AI robot with a hat that says Kevin on it.
I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know how the fuck they managed to get that season 2, but they managed to get it. I don't know how they did.
Yeah,
but
just because I've read a lot of stuff about She-Hulk, like how she is in the comics.
Yeah.
If we would have went that route, it wouldn't have lasted long at all.
That's fair.
Because of how she's written in the comics.
Yeah. That is fair. But yeah. So again, to try to make a long tangent short, Marvel desperately needs a win. And the fact that Kevin Feige's like, all right, we're not going to make Daredevil, a show that we literally fought tooth and nail to get back. We're not going to make it just okay. We're going to make it good. And so he finally sat down, he read the script, and he's like, no, we're rewriting this whole thing. What about all this? Doesn't matter. We're redoing the whole thing. Do I look forward to Echo because Daredevil is going to show up in it? No, I'm honestly not even going to watch that. But as soon as Daredevil Born Again comes out, you bet your ass I am watching that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kevin Feige has worked his ass up since day one of Marvel Studios, and
I definitely see him as one of those people that no, this isn't good enough. Our fans deserve better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and I think that it's good that he's kind of finally doing his overstep now. Would there have been a couple other shows that I wish he would have done that for too? Oh, absolutely. But
Mhm.
it's neither here nor